Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Harry Cosmo, freelance football journalist for BBC Sport and others, and I'm here outside St James's Park reacting to the matchday -1 press conferences between Newcastle United and PSG ahead of the game tomorrow. We've heard from Kieran Trippier and Eddie Howe first, then Lucas Hernandez and Luis Enrique from PSG second, and it was a really interesting listen. A lot of the questions about team news for Eddie Howe, obviously. Quick update on that first. It looks like Callum Wilson and Joe Linton are doubtful for the game, but they're not ruled out. Sandro Tonali, despite missing training or appearing to miss training earlier on, is fine, will play. Sven Botman is definitely out. And Kieran Trippier came in 90% of the questions that he was asked about Kylian Mbappe, who of course he'll be marking tomorrow at St James's Park. The funniest answer he gave was about his son, who he says admits is a huge Mbappe fan and watches his clips on YouTube all the time and wants to walk out with him tomorrow at the match as one of the mascots. Flags display looks like it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. But the thing that really caught my eye for the press conferences was Luis Enrique really talking up Newcastle. He obviously was here 26 years ago for Barcelona, 3-2 game, scored in that game for Barcelona, consolation. He remembered the game as a brilliant atmosphere, as a amazing place to play. As he said, he was envious of his players, and it was the atmosphere is something that he was really looking forward to, really wanting to be a part of, and he's jealous of his players, who we then saw on the pitch for 15 minutes just doing some rondo. Luis Enrique was asked about Newcastle, and he said that Newcastle were the team in pot 4 that nobody wanted to face because of how well they played last season, the atmosphere at St James's Park, the fact that it's been 20 years, obviously all the things that we're aware of and all the things we know about around here, that those things are making waves across Europe. I think everybody at PSG is aware of how difficult this game is going to be. Lucas Hernandez was constantly talking about the fact that the atmosphere is going to be incredible at the start of the game. The first 15 minutes are crucial. They know they have to get through that spell if they're going to then exert themselves, and they're coming into this game as massive favourites. So you only have to look at their squad and the fact that everyone's talking about Kylian Mbappe, but I put on Twitter yesterday about Achraf Hakimi playing at right back against Dan Burn and doubling up on a player who isn't likely to get forward too much. That would leave him exposed alongside Ousmane Dembele, who's obviously just signed for the club this summer and is settling in well. Luis Enrique was really complimentary of the way he's started at PSG. But as I mentioned in my roundup of the group, I think PSG, they've drawn a couple of games this season. They've lost obviously a couple of key players, being Neymar and Lionel Messi. They're going in a completely different direction under Luis Enrique. Coming here at St James's Park, it's not going to be very easy for them. I think that's something that they're going to have to get used to. That quick start, the heavy atmosphere at St James's Park is going to be something that's going to cause them a few problems, and they're not going to be looking forward to that. But you've got to respect their quality, and as I say, Hakimi is one of the best, if not the best, right back in the world. One of their top scorers as well this season, which shows his attacking intent and his attacking quality and the level of ability he's got to go forward. And as I say, if Dan Burn isn't going to get out, a lot of people talking about Mbappe and 90% of Trippier's questions because he's going to be marking him were about Mbappe. But the fact that Dembele started so well and is getting a lot of support, and then there's a small amount of Randall Colomwani in the middle as well. So there's a lot to threaten Newcastle tomorrow. Obviously, that's what's come away from the press conference. But those are the questions that are always going to be asked. But interestingly, there wasn't so much about the personnel of Newcastle that were going to threaten PSG. It was all about the atmosphere. It was all about the occasion and the sort of furore and emotion around that, and what's going to happen in pre-match. But and the music. I mean, Eddie Howe was asked about the music again. Gave a very Eddie Howe answer about just focusing on the game and being. And mainly looking towards that. But there's players in the Newcastle team that are going to hurt PSG as well. Bruno Guimaraes in midfield, and who's on their level, if not at the top of their level. You've got Sean Longstaff, who I've spoken about so many times on this channel about how in recent weeks about how impressive he's been in letting Bruno play his game. Then you've got Anthony Gordon, who's likely to play because he can't play against West Ham on Sunday. But it really feels like the atmosphere is building. Just being here today was incredible. Just to get the sense of the occasion, just even like the press conference, like advertising hoardings and everything that's different about that. There is a real sense, at least for me as a journalist who's never covered it on this level before, of how exciting this is. You can see the grin on my face because I'm so excited about what's in store tomorrow. That music, everything is just incredible, and there's a real sense of that in the press pack as well. And just an incredible game on the horizon for Newcastle. I think that PSG are going to come, and it doesn't sound like they're going to be in for a shock. They're aware of what they've got. Luis Enrique was really, as I say, not just on the atmosphere, but how well Newcastle played last season. We do have to sort of talk about Kylian Mbappe for the last couple of minutes. Luis Enrique said in 3 different languages, English, Spanish and French, that he is available for this game after obviously a little bit of a doubt I think he was injured against Lyon a couple of weeks ago. He's back. He was playing in the Rondo before. He was having a good laugh and seemed to be enjoying himself, and I think he'll play tomorrow up against Kieran Trippier, and he'll stay high. And I think the thing you've got to be wary of that we saw in the Milan game, Rafael Leao staying really high and pressurising Newcastle on the counter-attack. They always had a man on the counter-attack, and that man's going to be likely to be Mbappe tomorrow. So in the transitions, Newcastle are going to have to be so careful, because the pace that obviously Mbappe has, but also Dembele, the physicality of Colin Muani as well. There's so much quality in this PSG side, and there's a lot of reasons on paper to be fearful, but nobody here is going to be fearful. It's just going to be such an amazing occasion for everyone involved. Back in the Champions League for the first time in 20 years at St James's Park. First game since that Barcelona defeat where it was a damp squib. This feels like a real opportunity, and the thing to take from this game is that PSG are aware of what they're walking into. They know it's going to be difficult, and Luis Enrique was both jealous of his players that they're going to get to experience that atmosphere, but also the reality that Newcastle are the team that nobody wanted. That's the exact quote from Luis Enrique. Nobody wanted Newcastle because of how difficult it would be at St James's Park. Eddie Howe made no bones about the fact that the home form is crucial to Newcastle's ability to qualify. I think with this and Dortmund at home in the next couple of weeks before the end of October, there'll be a lot of understanding of where Newcastle are at with their Champions League qualification hopes going into a couple of really tough away games, obviously against Dortmund and PSG again in November. So there's a lot to take from this game. In the result, they need a good result. They need a really strong performance. I fancy a draw or a narrow game either way. I think PSG, if they ride out the first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes, they'll grow in confidence and their quality will begin to shine. It's going to be a nervy game at times, but it's also going to be an incredible occasion. That it's going to be one of those days that everyone remembers that they were there, and that's just incredible. I'll be back at St James's Park to give you my reaction from the game at full time. Please like, share and subscribe if you want more of this, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.